I'm focused on his spirit cause it keeps me from his fire. The Holy Ghost was with me, so my fear I leave behind. My sins were all diminished when he took that breath and died. And if you think I'ma give up on my God, the devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie.
Hello, this is Christine Barr. You're watching Black Tea News. Hello. Welcome to Black Tea News. I'm your host, Christina Barr, and today we're going to be talking about this press conference that Trump had the other day. We already went through something that he hit on in it yesterday, but he addressed the United Healthcare CEO being killed, and I thought what he said was very commonsensical, and we unfortunately don't live in a very commonsensical world, especially if you're chronically online like I am, I guess. And I wish his response is the same response that Democrats would have had, but unfortunately, if you've been watching the show past week or so, you know that is not the response the Democrats have been having. Also, unfortunately, there was a shooting in Wisconsin that's been in the news. We're going to touch on a little bit, but I mostly like to cover these things when we know more information, and there seems to be a bit, but they're still investigating a lot of stuff. But there's always such like strong emotional stuff going on when these things happen, and information just flying all over the place, and some of it's accurate, some of it's not. So I'm sure we'll probably have more thoughts about it later, but I do want to touch on it. Also, something less serious but kind of annoying. Apparently, the federal government is enacting a law so that all your cars have to have warning beeps for your seatbelts and stuff, and that sounds awful. That sounds awful. And so I saw it. Mike Lee had pointed it out because that's something that the Department of Transportation is doing. That's not a rule that's based on what Congress decided it wanted to do. And this is a major change that would be really inconvenient, especially because, I know how it is in every state, but you don't necessarily have to have a seatbelt on in the back seat. So anyway, before we jump to those things, I want to encourage you guys to go to blacktnews.com, check out different content on the website, articles, videos, etc. If you like what I do here, please consider leaving a donation at blacktnews.com/donate, because it just costs a stream on my website, all that good stuff. So if you can support, I very much do appreciate it. And thank you to those of you who are watching live, and those of you who watch back. Thank you. I see you in the chat, at least on YouTube right now. I'm sure if Facebook will pop in eventually, but thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you. And I know some of you do watch back and you leave comments, and sometimes you leave stickers and other things to support, and I see it, appreciate it. Thank you. You guys can also go to the website, check out different merch that's available at the store as well, so you guys can check out that kind of stuff as well. You guys can also check out my different books that I've written, and I have 18 altogether, so go ahead and check those out. I am almost done. Hey there. I do feel a little bit better. You guys can still hear that I'm obviously sick, but my nose isn't as stuffy at the moment. It was really bad when I got off with you guys last night, and it was kind of hard to sleep and stuff, but I'm a little better right now, but we'll see. I was well enough to do the show, so that's a good thing. I will not be doing a show tomorrow, though. It's not because of my health or anything, but I have an appointment that I decided to take, and so I have to push it out. push out my show, I guess. So I'll have to see you guys on Thursday. But I should have a really good Wednesday though, because we always have a Wednesday night Bible study. And instead of having a secret Santa, we're having a three wise men. So we're doing like a gift exchange, and then we're playing like a game about like who said what in church and what sermon was preached and so on. So I won the game the first year, my team, and we lost last year. We made some errors, but I think I don't know. I'm not I mean I like to win. I'm competitive, but um it's like whatever. I'm not gonna be mad that I lost, but usually they're Chick-fil-A gift cards that's on the line. So who doesn't want to win Chick-fil-A gift cards? So we'll see. But anyway, that'll be my Wednesday. I will not have a show. Excuse me. So I'll see you guys on Thursday unless something else comes up, and if something does come up, I will let you guys know on social media um and so on. So I don't think there's any other announcements. I do encourage you guys. I know I talked about my books before, but please go to Amazon, check out my stuff. There's a link in the description to take you to my Amazon so you can learn more, read some summaries, and so on. Okay, so first I want to talk about, and I know we've talked about this quite a bit, and we've touched on it quite a bit, but Donald Trump said something about it in his press conference. He was asked about the UnitedHealthcare CEO's murder, and he said something that was just common sense. And I wish the Democrats could just be common sense people. I really wish that, like Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Chris Murphy, pussyfooting around saying, "Oh, I don't condone violence," but no, just say the easy part, that it's wrong to shoot people in the back, and leave it at that. Just leave it at that. So, I want to share this clip of Donald Trump. Just give me 1 second. I connect it to YouTube. I'm sorry, not YouTube, X.
UnitedHealthcare shooting, the shooting of the CEO. Can you give us your thoughts about that? And what do you make of the reaction around the suspected shooter? Does that tell you anything about how people
I think
think
it's a
about healthcare?
terrible thing. I think it's really terrible that some people seem to admire him, like him. And I was happy to see that it wasn't specific to this gentleman that was killed. It's just an overall sickness as opposed to a specific sickness. That was a terrible thing. It was cold-blooded, just a cold-blooded, horrible killing. And how people can like this guy is that's a sickness, actually. That's really very bad, especially the way it was done. It was so bad, right in the back. And very bad, very thing like that. You can't believe that some people, and maybe it's fake news. I don't know. It's hard to believe that that can even be thought of. But it seems that there's a certain appetite for him. I don't get it. Yeah, please.
Yeah, he's a murderer. And that's all you need to say. It's bad, it's evil, it's despicable. Shooting someone in the back. Yeah, bad. This guy's sick. It's hard to believe people are that sick to do such a terrible thing. Um, but there's some people, I think he said something else about it too. But he talked about there's people who are looking up to the guy. And last week, I was listening on TikTok. There was a guy who had a live, and he was talking to people who thought that this guy was a hero, or that he didn't do anything wrong, or maybe they say, well, I don't condone violence, but healthcare this, healthcare that, and you stand up for the system. And I mentioned the other day, this man if he's the real killer, we'll say alleged because and he said he'll prove him guilty or whatever. They're investigating, so people think that he was set up and stuff. But as of now, Luigi is the person who we believe did it, and this person is wealthy. We don't know all the reasons his mind was skewed to come after this man, Brian Thompson. He did have back surgery, a successful back surgery, and even recommended the procedure. He had money to pay it out of pocket, but UnitedHealthcare was not his insurance company. And this is a guy who is rich, graduated Ivy League, has a big inheritance. I don't know if he's still going to get it because he's going to go to jail for the rest of his life. In contrast, Brian Thompson worked up the ranks to be the CEO of UnitedHealthcare. He didn't have the life that Luigi had. But Luigi, he could have just paid for people's medical bills. Like, people want to do Revolution and all the stuff. When you could just be part of the solution and do your part. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, they complain about the for-profit system while they sit on some cash for their books and however they've enriched themselves while, doing their jobs, working for the government, not, creating and, being part of building jobs or anything like that, but just, kind of leeching off the system and living fat off the system, especially Bernie Sanders his whole entire life. And it's nice if you care about people, but at the same time, Bernie Sanders, I saw an interview with him the other day, and he was asked about Donald Trump and the minimum wage and whether they're going to be able to, raise it. And he said he would love to get it higher. And he was talking about how he wanted it to be nationally, like, he said 15, but he said he really wants it at like 17 something an hour, like 17.50 an hour, something like that. That's crazy. Like, the whole country, you're going to put small businesses out of business. If you have a mom and pop shop and you can't afford to pay your employees, I guess there goes your store. Now, there are a lot of companies that have gotten just used to having less employees. Like, do you notice you go into restaurants or you go into grocery stores and other places, or even just a store like Five Below? They don't, all their stations for where you check out is self-checkout. It's you pay it with cash or you pay with card only at different stations, and there's someone like watching. It's like at a grocery store where a lot of people just self-checkout. It's not like how it used to be, you know? You like barely have the option. You go and you do it yourself. Like, when they first started doing self-checkout, like in the grocery stores, I didn't really want to. I don't like scanning my own groceries and putting them in the bags and stuff. I didn't like it. If I had to stand in a long line, I would just stand in a long line. I didn't like it. And I also felt like that's somebody's job, they take it, you know? So there was a little bit of that, but a lot of, I don't want to scan these myself. I will wait in the line if I have to. Now there's not really even that option too much. Like, they've organized the stores. If you go into like a Meijer, and they have a long row of all these self-checkouts that they expect people to go to. So they will find a way to just have less employees. Of course, they still need people to stock the shelves and other stuff like that for now. But if they could, get rid of people being on the floor needing to like check out folks and other stuff, they'll do that. They got to take in a little less customers because they only got like one or two waitresses or whatever. They'll have to do that. COVID made companies need to restructure and think about their staffing, and they just got used to having less people. So there's going to be a lot of people who just don't have jobs, Bernie, because they're just not going to be available. But a big box store like Walmart, which by the way also have self-checkout, they can afford, they'll upcharge different stuff where they have a lot of margin, but something that they sell so much stuff on the floor, maybe they won't have as many employees, but they can still, if you're going to make them pay $17 an hour, they can go ahead and do that, especially with all the new business they'll be raking in, because all the mom and pop stores are going to be gone. They're going to be gone. So on one hand, it seems like Bernie really cares about the people, and that's why he would like them to, to get a living wage, as he calls it. But on the other hand, how can you claim to care about the people that much and not just think about it for 2 seconds and just realize, hey, this could actually really hurt businesses, and they can't pay you what they can't afford. And if they can't afford to be in business, they just won't be in business, and then that job won't exist. Like, it's just basic economics. Like, are they so stuck on their ideology? Now, perhaps they are, because FDR, he had the opinion that that if you can't pay a living wage, if businesses, companies can't pay it, then they don't deserve to exist. But the people, who have those kinds of attitudes, which I did hear a Democrat, Ro Conahan or Cohan or something. I can't think of his. I can think, kind of remember how his name is spelled a little bit, but I don't. Even if it was right in front of me, I don't know how to say it correctly. But he had said something along those lines and got backlash, and so he actually went on Ben Shapiro's show and they debated a little bit. And he seemed like an okay guy, but it's like, okay, that's still an issue, and it's not a pro worker attitude. It's not a pro business attitude. It's actually an elitist attitude that somebody's company doesn't deserve to exist if they can't give you what you want, what you demand. Like, you negotiate your contracts and your wages because you are trading your labor for income. That's what you're doing. And that negotiation needs to be between the employer and the employee. And if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. And the market will decide how this stuff goes. Ro Khanna, that's his name. He is a United States representative of California, obviously. Obviously. So he had said something along those lines, but it's not a new position. It's not a unique position. It goes, I'm sure it predates FDR, but it's an elitist position. Like, when people would talk about living wages or even minimum wages, it was so people who didn't want to work for um like a competitive wage, they'd have some kind of baseline where this is the amount that I'm willing to work for. Screw those people who are willing to work less for that, or the businesses that have to pay less. They don't deserve to be in business. And those people who are going to undercut me by working less, we're not going to give them that option. So we're going to make these companies pay this baseline level that I'm comfortable working. And I know that they're more likely to hire me than this other person who was willing to work for less. So at least that part of the history is how it was when minimum wage was first starting to roll out, because there was eugenicists who were pushing those kinds of policies, and they knew that it would lead to different class groups, ethnic groups that they weren't too fond of being unemployed, and by design also being on the government teat. So these folks think they care about the people, and then they go out and they do crazy stuff that hurts folks all the way around because they're so devoted to their ideology. It sounds mean to make people have to work two jobs. Like, I've heard Bernie say, no one should have to work two jobs. And I hear leftists say that all the time. And I'm just like, my sister, when she was like in high school, she was working like three jobs. Like, sometimes it's not ideal, but you got to do what you got to do to take care of your family. You got to, or like, everyone deserves to make a living wage. What if they're a bad worker? What if they're terribly unskilled? It's an inconvenient place to be in your life, but there's a whole heck of a lot of conversations about what people deserve. But how do you do that when it's a negotiation between the employer and the employee? Where does the employer get to come into this conversation? But anyway, I don't even remember how I totally got on that conversation. I think it just kind of shifted from Bernie doesn't think, or Bernie is really self-righteous with this stuff. when a lot of times he just pushes bad ideology, like with the healthcare stuff. So I guess that's where we got to where we were. I guess that's where we got to where we were. Another interesting, well, let me say this before I move on from this topic. There was, I saw a poll today, and let me see if I can find it real quick. And it was talking about public opinion of the murder of the CEO. And here we go. The killing and acceptance or acceptable or unacceptable by the age breakdown. 18 to 29, 41 to 40 acceptable. That's disturbing. That's really disturbing for that group. 30 to 39, 56 to 23 unacceptable. Even that's low. That's too low for me. But that's the group that I'm in. 40 to 49, 69 13 unacceptable. Even that one is too low for me. 50 to 59, 73 8. Thank you. We're getting to some more common sense, but even that's a little too low for me. But 60 69, 81 to 10 unacceptable, and the same for the 70 to 79. Well, older generations have some more sense. Like Donald Trump saying, "Hey, it's just wrong to shoot people in the back." And it's wrong to play judge, jury, executioner, and you are robbing, even if they were a guilty person, which he'd break any crimes, from my understanding. There's still due process that is necessary to have. There's still due process. So, I'm not saying that. Well, let me back up a little bit. When there was the sentencing of Laken Riley's killer, I had mentioned that I thought he should have got capital punishment, and that wasn't even on the table. And I had did a TikTok about it. A lot of people in my comments were like, "Oh, well, don't worry. There's gonna, they're gonna get to him in prison and other stuff like that." And that wasn't really my intention when I made that video. Of just like, I want this man dead at any cost or whatever, because he just deserves it or whatever. I thought that the death penalty should have been on the table, because I felt like that was a just punishment for what he did do, and also what he attempted to do. And him living, the rest of his life in the United States of America, in our prison, it's probably, I imagine, a lot nicer than other prisons across the world and stuff. And I don't know how long people will allow him to live, but my thing was that we have the state. It's been delegated, certain powers, and I believe rightly the state does have that sort of power to take someone's life. And I can argue that from a biblical perspective too, but I know there's, people who are religious who think that's not correct or whatever, but I think there's a case to be made. But it wasn't just like a bloodthirsty, I want him gone because he did this terrible thing. I think that was just. But he did go through a due process and all that stuff. And it's wrong to just rob people of having their day in court. It's just wrong. So on top of it, it's wrong to take someone's life. People backing this kid up as if what he did was the right thing. It doesn't even make sense why he did what he did. A lot of people are projecting, but it doesn't make any sense. It's just delusions of grandeur or something. So this 18 to 29, there is a sickness, as Donald Trump said. And we got to do something about that age bracket, man. Like 30 to 39, and for a lot of these, different age brackets, I still think that's a little too high. I'm a little too low, not high enough for me. But the 18 to 29, that's a problem. That's a really big problem. So I don't know how we fix it besides I don't know, people need Jesus, I suppose, but when you devalue life, it just kind of stretches out to other parts of your thinking, I guess. You know, we tell ourselves all the time that it's okay to kill people, not just for justice, but to achieve the ends that you want to achieve. You know, we tell mothers that, and why do people not think that that's gonna keep expanding outwardly? Anyway, another interesting thing that happened in that press conference, there was a CEO of SoftBank who came, and Trump got him. He said he's going to invest like 100 million, I think, and then Trump told him to ask if he would invest more. And so he's like, "Oh well, we'll see." He's like, I will try. You were a very good negotiator." And he's a Japanese businessman. But what's interesting though is that, I'm sorry, 100 million. It's 100 billion. He's investing over 100 billion, and so Trump asked him to invest 200 billion, and so he said he was go ahead and try to double that. And he said Trump is a good negotiator. Now, SoftBank is an investor in ByteDance, which is over TikTok. So some people think that's interesting that, you know, he's meeting with Trump, and also TikTok CEO, I believe, is also meeting with Trump too. And so folks are optimistic that Trump is going to do something as far as stopping the ban. Now, I don't know what he can do, because it's supposed to be bye-bye by the time he takes office. It's supposed to be gone by the 19th. They are fighting, and they want the Supreme Court to delay the sale and rule in their favor. I don't know if the Supreme Court's going to do that. A lot of lawyers don't think that there's a strong case with the First Amendment right aspect that they're pushing. And I don't know how much people really looking at TikTok know that much about how it works. I think the biggest thing is the harm that it will do to people who have structured so much of their livelihoods around that app. So it's gonna have massive ramifications for sure. But what I find so fascinating is the fact that it was barely talked about during the election. Barely talked about. You know, there was a law that passed through Congress to ban TikTok, and that's another problem, that they're a hurdle, that they actually passed that bill, so they can't just. It's hard to make a case because our elected body decided to get rid of it, and I don't know how Trump is gonna override something that the former president signed that and a lot of other people agreed to, unless they come up with another bills. But why would all those people flip all of a sudden? And I don't, see an executive order just simply being able to solve everything. But Trump did want it to stay, and Biden made it go away. And Kamala Harris said she couldn't think of anything, like nothing came to mind when they asked, would you do anything differently? So all these people upset on social media because they might lose when I say lose their livelihood, I mean lose their livelihood. there's a lot of people who do very, very well on there, and they're making thousands of dollars a month from TikTok, whether it's TikTok Shop or creative, you know, content that they're putting out and it's monetized. They have different contests, people going live and getting gifts. There's all kinds of ways that people make money on TikTok, but they didn't want to really, they didn't confront Kamala Harris about it. I still think it should have been a debate question. So it's just funny to me, all these people sad about the app leaving, but they're so mad that Trump won the election when your girl was part of the administration that wanted to get rid of your app. So someone's gonna have to explain that to me. Anyway, let's talk about some of the details in this tragic shooting in Wisconsin. I'm just gonna go read through a little bit of the CNN article. There's a lot of speculation as to this student who shot up the school, and it is very unusual to have females be shooters. It's usually the profile is a white male, and it's very strange to have a female do it. Some people are saying she's transgender and other stuff, and some other people are saying it's not true. I don't know. I think the police and stuff are still trying to figure that out, motive and other things. And I don't know. I usually like to pause and not go fresh on the let's talk about this online, and and do the hot takes and stuff, because so much information just evolves with these stories. And manifestos sometimes it take a long time to come out, and all the different rumors go around the world so quickly, and I don't really want to be part of the problem. Also, people want to make legislative changes when these tragedies happen, but when you have heightened emotions about these things, you might not come up with the best solutions because you're so eager to get something done. But the question is, will you be able to pass something that's actually effective, that will actually spark change, or are you just going to stomp on the liberties of law-abiding citizens while your suggestions won't do anything to actually curb gun violence? The motive of the teen shooter at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin, appears to be a combination of factors. Police Chief Sean Barnes said Wednesday investigators are looking into her online activity. Barnes said a teacher and a student were killed in the attack Monday morning at a private Christian school. 6 people were injured, including 2 who have life-threatening injuries, according to authorities. The shooter, who is also dead, was a 15-year-old female, according to law enforcement official. The police chief said the suspect was a student at the school. But at Life Christian School is a K-12 school that serves about 420 students, according to the administrator. It planned to close for Christmas vacation after this week. Gosh, what a terrible thing to do. In general, but especially right before Christmas. It's relatively rare for a school shooter to be female. CNN has documented 83 school shootings in 2024, and out of the 59 where the gender identity of the speculated shooter was available, only 2 were female. The others involved either lone male suspects or a group of male suspects. Other sets of data, like the FBI's annual active shooter report, similarly indicate it is rare for a shooter to be female, though the methodology behind the FBI's definition of an active shooter incident is notably different than how CNN determines what constitutes as a school shooting. Dane County Executive Melissa Asgard said the laws on the gun access by children in Wisconsin are not sufficient. Our laws in Wisconsin are far too lax when it comes to access of guns by children. Agard said, I think I said Asgard. There's no S there. Agard said Tuesday, one day after shooting at Abundant Life Christian School left 2 people dead and several others wounded. We should have background checks. We should have red flag bills. We should be providing adequate support for everyone in our community when it comes to behavioral health. People should not be waiting when they raised their hand and asked for help. The mayor of Madison, Wisconsin said it is far too early to comment on the parents and the teen shooter at Abundant Life Christian School will face criminal charges. We don't know nearly enough yet, Setya Rhodes Conway said, answering a question from a reporter on Tuesday. She added that she thinks law enforcement will take the steps necessary as the investigation unfolds. Both federal and Wisconsin law generally make it illegal for someone younger than 18 to possess a firearm. State law similarly makes it illegal for any person to intentionally sell, loan, or give a dangerous weapon to someone younger than 18. In recent years, the parents of the teenage school shooters in Oxford, Michigan, and Winder, Georgia, have faced charges for allegedly recklessly giving their child access to a firearm despite concerns about their mental health. Madison Police Chief Shan Bain said previously investigators are looking at if the parents may have been negligent, but said does not appear to be the case. He also said that the parents are cooperating, and as of Monday night, investigators have no reason to believe that they committed a crime at this time. So there's some bit more info out there, but people are saying it's the guns, it's the guns, it's the guns. Yeah, you can talk about mental health and etc. It's the guns, it's the guns, it's the guns. But it's important to try to get the details of these situations to learn how it happened and to know if a law that you want to put in place could have actually stopped what was happening, because it is wrong to kill people with guns. So there's obviously laws that are broken. I imagine it's, can't bring a gun into a school. To a gun-free zone. Already laws, broken there and so on. So just because you put laws in place doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to get people who are going to, break the law and find a way to skirt around it. But I will say that, Biden, his White House is putting out statements about stuff like this. And it is important. He's the president, though I don't recall a statement about a school shooting that happened like 2 weeks ago at a Christian school, but it was over, protests of what was going on in like Gaza. And it was, it didn't have the right narrative. So I guess maybe that's why we didn't hear too much about it. But when it comes to Biden, I think it's hard to take people seriously about the kind of laws that they want to put on the books to be against firearms when they themselves tried to give Hunter Biden a pass for blatantly breaking gun laws, and lying on ATF form and discarding the firearm like near a school. So there's a lot of irresponsible behavior there. And then Joe Biden's like, oh, well, the reason why they came after my son is because he's my son, and it's political, prosecution and persecution and all this wild stuff about his DOJ. and they don't think it's fair. And he went ahead and he pardoned his son. Now I understand him pardoning his son because that's his son and he loves him. But at the same time, if you're not going to actually prosecute people when they break gun laws, what is the point of having the gun laws? What's the point if people know that they can get away with stuff? Oh. Oh, RC said I sound bad. Hope I feel better. Oh, I'm out here trying. Someone had a comment earlier about no, you got to feel better soon. You can't be under the mistletoe with a runny nose. Trust me. I don't know nobody who gonna be under the mistletoe with me, but I'm trying. When I have a cold though, it's like my body just latches on to the cold. There is no like 1 day, 2 day, you're done. It's like it wants to stay with me for like a week or so or more or whatever. I've never like been, had like a fever or flu or anything really like that, but it's just runny nose and sometimes I don't. It's very rare that my voice is just gone, but I usually don't maybe sing in church or something because I don't like to crack for nobody. So if the symptoms are worse, I might not stream the rest of the week. But yeah, I'm trying out here. I'm sorry. But the nose is less runny. That's cool. But we just got one more story to get through today. Thank you for your concern, though. Thank you for your concern. There's a Christmas song that I really, really love. I've only sung it once. I learned it last year, for it to sing in church, and it's it's called "How Many Kings," and let me see who makes the song. It's such a beautiful song. By Down Here is the name of the group, and it's such a wonderful song. It's one of my favorite Christmas songs now, because it really just captures the spirit of what it's about, what Jesus did. So I learned it, and it's got this really pretty run that I'm not gonna do right now. And I would like to sing it on Sunday. I would like to sing it on Sunday. Uh, but I don't know. Just we'll cross our fingers and hope I'm as good as new. Something less serious, but annoying. Mike Lee had retweeted this and brought this up and brought up the fact that this is a major change in law. Someone said go live on Sunday so we can hear it. We do go live, but we usually don't record the music live. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sing it. But maybe I'll sing it online and share it or something. Hopefully by Christmas, I imagine I'll feel better. So, maybe I'll do that. I don't know about, or I guess I could have some if I do sing it. Maybe I'll have somebody record it. I think my dad recorded me singing it last year, but he didn't record the whole thing. Anyway, Mike Lee said this will be a major change in the law, but they ain't passed no bill. They didn't pass no bill. New federal rule extends seatbelt warning chimes to all car seats. The Department of Transportation's National Highway and Traffic Safety Administration finalized a rule Monday that will require all car seats to adopt the ding 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 safety belt chimes with warning lights that have long reminded drivers to buckle up. So, not Congress passed the bill that Joe Biden signed. This is something that's a rule that's being enforced on the public through the Department of Transportation. The amendment to the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard number 208 will require automakers to add front passenger seat warnings to all new cars, trucks, buses, except for school buses and multi-purpose passenger vehicles starting in September 2026. Manufacturers must add the warning system to the rear seats of vehicles beginning in September 2027. The new rule covers vehicles weighing up to 10,000 pounds and will prevent at least 500 accidents and 50 deaths a year, the NHTSA said. Early estimates from the federal agency indicate that 40,990 people died from motor vehicle traffic crashes in 2023, while seatbelt use is improved for decades because people voluntarily will decide to do that. There's still more we can do to make sure everyone buckles up, said Adam Raviv, NHTSA chief counsel. These new requirements will help people increase seatbelt use, especially for rear seat passengers, by enhancing reminders for vehicle occupants to buckle up. In 2022, NHTSA estimated that 91.6% of front seat passengers and 81.7% of back seat passengers wore seat belts, according to the agency's fatality analysis reporting system. Roughly half of all passengers who died in crashes that year were unbelted. So that's just that. So many people are voluntarily wearing seatbelts anyway. They're voluntarily wearing them, and now they want to put the beeps in there. Now I gotta tell you, those beeps will happen in the front seat, like next to you, whether someone is there or not. Sometimes it will go off if there's just food in the seat. If there's something just kind of heavy, not even that heavy, but it's in the seat. It'll think it's a person, and then it will just beep. So now that's got to go on the back seat. You don't have to. I don't know what the states are, what the laws are in every state, but you may not have to wear a seatbelt in the back. So they're just going to put this regulation, because they can't mandate it to that every state makes this happen, but they can mandate this stuff to the car companies to make them put in the beep, so it'll drive people crazy. So they'll just put on the seatbelts so they won't go crazy. It's bureaucracy, man. And you can say, well, they're just trying to do a good thing. They're just trying to do a good thing. Again, just pass the law. Just pass a law if you feel that strongly about it. Let the people argue about it on the floor and make whatever decisions. But Mike Lee said this is a major change to the law, and this is something that the Congress isn't even doing. It's something that a branch within the federal within the executive branch is doing. In with Chevron doctrine, I don't know how much they should be able to get away with, but I don't know if they have to sue them first to stop it. I don't know who would sue him. But Mike Lee said requiring seatbelt warning chimes for all car seats is a significant change to existing law. My copy of the Constitution says only Congress can make or change federal law. Unelected bureaucrats get away with this, but only because Congress and the Supreme Court have let them. And that's true. That's true. Like I said, if I grocery shop alone, I put the groceries on the front seat. It's easier, I guess. I'll just clip the seat belt on nothing, huh? Yeah, I guess you're just gonna have to. I guess I'll just have to. I find this to be so annoying. So annoying. Anyway. Anyway. That's all I got for you guys here on today. I'm gonna give my voice a little bit of some rest and try to get some more sleep. I did get a lot of sleep last night, but I will tell you what I was doing. I told you guys I was filming a video for I Dreamed a Dream, because Van Jones had said something about people's losing their dreams on election night, and so we had a little laugh at his expense, and I started singing the song from Les Mis. So I recorded myself singing it, and then I shot a video of me singing it, like doing voiceover and stuff, and then I just put in some different clips or whatever. So I was trying to finish that up last night. I did finish it up. I didn't render it, so it's not quite, it's edited. It's just has to go through the rendering, and then I have to go ahead and post it. But I was trying to finish that last night, so maybe that's one of the reasons why I'm still sick today, because I certainly didn't get a ton of rest. But I do have an interesting project that I will try to debut tomorrow, so you guys can be on the lookout for that. Again, I will not be live tomorrow because I have an appointment that will just conflict with going live. So I'm sorry that I won't be able to stream, but hopefully next time you hear me, I will sound a lot better. But anyway, thank you guys. Go to blacktnews.com, check out different content, website, articles, videos, etc. If you like what I do, please consider leaving a donation to blacktnews.com/donate because it does cost a stream, run my site, all the good stuff you guys get support. I appreciate it. You guys can check out different merch that's available at blacktnews.com. So go ahead and check that out. Check out my different books that's available on Amazon. God bless you guys, and I'll see you on